Welcome to Business Exit Success, the podcast dedicated to helping small business owners on how they can successfully transition out of their business on their terms while also living a life of purpose and fulfillment after the sale. I am your host, certified financial planner and certified exit planning advisor, Tom Poltersdorf. Hello, everybody. I wanted to share an important planning tip that I've recently come across meeting with clients, and I wanted to make you aware of. I've seen this many times over my career as a financial planner, not just with business owners, but anybody with investments. It's a mistake that often gets overlooked in the financial planning process, and I wanted to dedicate an episode to focusing on it because if attention isn't brought to it, it can cause a mess in your financial life for your family. And my suggestion would be to revisit who is listed as your beneficiary on your investment accounts, retirement accounts, and any life insurance policies you own. So first, who is a beneficiary? This is the individual or entity you can list on an account or a policy, usually a life insurance policy, who will receive the assets if you were to pass away. As an example, on a 401k account or an IRA, you can list your spouse to receive 100% of the account balance if you were to pass away. On a life insurance policy, same thing. You can list your spouse, your kids, a trust, anybody to receive the proceeds if you were to pass away. The issue or mistake that I consistently see is people assume they listed a beneficiary when there actually isn't one, or someone got divorced 5-10 years ago and never updated their beneficiary. I've seen this many times working with clients, and it can be a mess for your family or the person who you had intended to leave your assets to. You don't want your assets to go to your ex-wife or ex-husband, and because you would be long gone, you won't be there to fight the battle of where your assets go because you'd be dead, right? You wouldn't be existing anymore. If you have nobody listed as a beneficiary, then you leave it up to your estate to figure it out. The account or proceeds usually become part of your estate, and if you're married, it usually goes directly to your spouse or your kids. But in my experience, if you want to have control beyond the grave, I would suggest highly to completely avoid leaving this decision up to the state or your family to figure it out. It's usually a highly emotional time, and I've seen families can get torn apart over money disputes if someone isn't listed or the wrong person was listed and never updated. So please check your beneficiaries at least annually. Log into your 401k plan online. There is almost always an online portal, and you can check the beneficiaries tab to make sure someone is listed. Log into your brokerage accounts and do the same thing. For investment accounts held at a brokerage firm like a TD Ameritrade or Charles Schwab or any big wirehouse, don't forget about your non-qualified accounts, which are standard individual brokerage accounts, joint accounts, custodial accounts, or trust accounts. You can list beneficiaries on these accounts as well. It's just called something different. It will be called adding a transfer on death agreement to the non-retirement accounts. It's the same thing as adding a beneficiary to a retirement account, but for some reason often gets overlooked, and many advisors out there don't take the time to review beneficiaries on an annual basis to remind the client that they have control over who they want their beneficiaries to be. To check your life insurance, you most likely won't be able to locate the original policy document, especially if you bought your policy over 10 plus years ago. The policy document lays out the terms, exclusions, conditions, and beneficiaries on the policy. But again, it's very unlikely if you got the policy a long time ago, you'll still have this handy. So call your insurance agent. If you don't know who that is, call the life insurance company. Hopefully you remember which insurance company you got your policies through, because when you call, they can look up your policy based on your social security number and check it out for you. And usually if there's no one listed or you want to change it or update it, there's usually a simple form you can complete to get that done. So I hope that is helpful. I hope those listening will actually do this advice. You will end up helping your family and beneficiaries a ton in the long run if something happens to you. Hey, everybody, real quick before you take off, if you found this episode helpful in any way, please rate the podcast and leave a review. I would love to get your feedback and see if there are any topics you'd like to hear more about going forward. Thank you, and I appreciate you all very much.